My grandfather started the business back in 1912. When he first started the business, it consisted mainly of raising bedding plants, flowers, and things such as that. He constructed a greenhouse that was approximately 200 feet by maybe 40 feet. My father had built a house right across the lot from that, and that's where he raised his family. When he took over in the late 1930s, he grew the business from just a bedding plant business to include trees, shrubs, ground cover, landscape design, and a tree surgery business, and then started a florist shop. The florist shop at that point was only one of 3 in town. When our garden center first opened up on Avon Street, my father had a monkey, and the monkey was tied to the porch out there in front of the garden center. And a lot of times when a car would come in, he would jump up on the car and break off the antenna. On occasion, he would mess on the window and then slide down. So we soon had to remove the monkey from off the front of the porch and let him sit somewhere else. Back in the late 50s, there was 3 main theaters in town. There was the Paramount, the Jefferson, and the Lafayette. When they tore the Lafayette Theater down, they asked Snow's to do that work. So we tore it down and took it over to Belmont and put it in a landfill. Then later we built an additional greenhouse on top of the old Lafayette Theater. Back in the 60s, the only way that we could get stumps out of the ground after we had taken down a tree was to blow them out of the ground with dynamite. One day after blowing stumps out of the ground, my brother and I were driving back into the city, and we got to talking. And we said, you know, in the movies, whenever they throw a stick of dynamite, it goes off. And we said, I'll tell you what, let's throw a stick of dynamite out the window and see what happens, and see if that really happens. So we were driving in the pickup truck. We had a case of dynamite, and my brother Bob and I worked out this scheme. I would count to 3, he would hit the gas, and I would throw the dynamite up in the air. So we went 1, 2, 3. He hit the gas, I threw the dynamite out the window, straight up in the air, and the dynamite came down and landed in the back of the truck. It didn't go off. We were really happy. We've been working around the grounds at UVA since the early 30s. I personally was involved in planting both sides of the bank as you go up towards the rotunda with ivy on each side. And those huge sycamores that you see there now, I planted those back in the 70s. I took over running the business in the late 1970s. If you've had the opportunity of visiting the Charlottesville downtown mall, we planted those trees back in 1975. And it's amazing how large they've grown and how much they've added to that area. When the new UVA hospital was built, we were contracted to do all the landscaping. My father started a radio program back in 1949. And at first he started out by taping the program and taking a tape in. Then he started doing it live, and then it continued on to where it was running 3 times a week, a half hour on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. I took over running the radio program in the late 1970s. The Snow's Garden Show is now in its 3rd generation, and it is hosted by my son Corbin. It is the oldest continuing running gardening show in the world. Corbin and Scott took over running the business in 2003.